It was planned for Wednesday, August 27th. I picked up Bill O'Fallon at Southwestern Bell around 5:45. Came over to the Brick to surprise Dave. Jim Heiser was there. He had already ordered up a pie. Actually, the next people to arrive happened to be Dave and his sister Loretta. And the surprise guest over here was Brian Miller. We enjoyed the happy hour prices and getting reacquainted as people arrived. Jim Tornatore showed up. Dave started throwing back chicken wings. He wanted me to have one here. Frank Calcaterra came with his son Chris. Carl Colignan arrived. Carl presented Dave with a baseball with the name Tripp, T-R-I-P-P, on it. Joe English came. Warm embrace by Steve Tornatore. This is Jim Tornatore, Loretta, and her husband Steve. A couple of boys from the old neighborhood. Brian Miller, J.P., Carl Colignan. Things got kind of sick after Carl threw up some bad salsa. Dave slipped in it. Dave imparting the wisdom of the ages to Johnny and Brian. A couple of good-looking guys. Joe English, Jim Tornatore. Here's a neighborhood gang of Carl, Johnny, Dave, yours truly, Frank, and Chris Calcaterra. Dave obviously surprised by the camera. Fred always cool. Jim, Steve, and Loretta. This is Dave holding the cake right before he hit Johnny Pasigli in the face with it. Opening the gifts. An herbal remedy for adult onset impotence, the horny goat weed. Dave and Joe in a hand squeezing contest. One thing, looks like Dave here got laid that night. Oh look, Larry Thayer showed up. Close up of the Tripp softball. Dave and Joe arguing over whether they should have regular or light beer. Joe, obviously a fan of regular beer, fills Dave's mug until satisfied. Looks like Frank and Dave and Stan here in the photos. Stan just suggested a new boogie for these two knuckleheads to call. Bill and Carl. Again, Joe English extorting the virtues of regular beer. Joe and Johnny were acquaintances for the past 10 years. Apparently Johnny rented some property from the English family over in Belleville. Larry Thayer, Jimmy Heiser, Dave holding his mug high. As the party winds down, we had to get a photo out in the street. Reminds me of our last days at college, out in front of the wharf with Dave, me, and Joe. Don't step back into the traffic, boys. Back inside with Frank Flesh, Kevin Humphrey, solving the world's problems at the bar. In the family photos, again, Chris, Dave, and Frank. Carl looking like he just bought the place. Did he hire the bartender? There's the boys. I think these guys closed the place that night. Excellent photo. Dave, Brian, Johnny, and Carl. Here's a family shot. Calcaterra boys. Frank and his brother Tony, I think that's his name, and Chris. Kevin Humphrey, Jimmy Heiser, Frank Flesh, some St. Mary's boys. It was a good party, Dave. Happy birthday.